DPS is investigating vandalism at VKC as a hate crime. We talked to DPS and students about the incident.
Felicity Huffman was the first parent sentenced in the college admission scandal. Another parent whose son was admitted to USC will be in court tomorrow.
Students have President Folt's support in making USC more sustainable. We have a live guest to talk about what it will take to make campus more green.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Vandalism at VKC is being investigated as a hate incident. Good evening, I'm Caleb Michael.
And I'm Elizabeth Barno. This is not the first time VKC is in the middle of controversy. Students protested during President Folt's inauguration Friday, right after DPS found the bust of von Kleinsmid with a sign hanging over it saying Nazi. VKC is where many classes are held. We talked with DPS about the latest incident.
We documented it as what we call a hate incident, but it wasn't really a vandalism because there was no damage. It could be a form of protest rather than a crime, but we are making more routine patrols and are trying to focus some of our surveillance cameras.
Rufus von Kleinsmid was the 5th president of USC and a known eugenicist, meaning he was in favor of selective breeding, often associated with racism and white supremacy. We asked students about the possibility of changing the building's name.
I saw this building when I transferred and it was so pretty, and like with the flags, it just seemed pretty, but it's actually quite dark.
So I believe changing a name like this, supports more of, a minority image. I feel like that's something we need right now.
I wasn't aware about the situation, but now that I am aware of it, I definitely will think twice about, things. And like I said, it makes me more conscious about maybe the rest of the buildings on campus and what, they're named after and who they're named after.
On Friday, we spoke to newly inaugurated President Carol Folt about her opinions of both VKC's name change and the protests that occurred.
We already do, though, have a committee in place that's looking in nomenclature, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get to that pretty quickly. Protests can take place. There has to be a space. I tried to give a little bit of time for people's voice, but I think it has to be part of what we do.
President Folt says a plan is already in place for leaders in student government to assist in renaming the building.
There are new developments in the college admissions scandal. A federal judge ruled she won't sentence parents who plead guilty based on the amount of money they paid, where prosecutors say sentences should be based on how devious the crimes were. Devin Sloan will be in court tomorrow. Sloan admitted to having his son pretend to be a water polo player and having photos digitally manipulated in order to be admitted to USC. Steven Sept will be in court on Thursday. He admitted to bribing a college tennis coach at Georgetown University to recruit his son. Earlier this month, actress Felicity Huffman was the first in the admissions scandal to be sentenced. A judge sentenced her to 14 days in prison for paying someone to change her daughter's SAT answers on the exam. The judge noted Huffman was among the least culpable parents who pled guilty in this case. 22 people have pled guilty and admitted their role in the scandal. Over the next few weeks, the judge is expected to deliver more sentences. A judge dismissed a challenge to USC sexual assault policy made by an anonymous USC student earlier this morning. The suit was not processed because the case is still under review by the university. In a statement, USC said, "We are pleased that the court has dismissed the case out of respect for the expertise and autonomy of the university's Title IX office."
Our reporter Tanvi Varma is live at the Wilton Theater in downtown Los Angeles, where Democratic candidate Kamala Harris is hosting a fundraising event for her presidential campaign.
Energetic music here sums up the crowd perfectly. As you can see behind me, there are people on their feet dancing and having a good time. DJ Cassidy's here and he's known for the dance parties. I'm almost wondering, is this a Kamala Harris fundraiser or a dance party myself? The crowd here is all different people, but they're all here for the same reason. They believe that Kamala brings them together. People from all different walks of life have been here and they've told us the same thing. Kamala represents every single type of person here. People were in the hundreds and the line was wrapping around buildings. There was people here for hours just waiting.
She is worthy of our votes. She is for all of us. And she cares about people. She is not a phony. She said that She wants Medicare for all, but she wants us to have our private medical insurance.
This fundraiser ends in an hour, but I don't see the excitement for Kamala Harris dying down anytime soon. For Annenberg Media, I'm Tanvi Verma.
Speaking of politics, leaders from around the world gathered in New York today to discuss climate change.
Annenberg Media's Kevin McNamara joins us with a young woman's emotional plea to save the planet. Kevin?
Thanks. Teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg delivered an impassioned speech at the UN Climate Action Summit today, imploring world leaders to do more in the face of a rising climate catastrophe.
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money.
The day-long summit was convened to accelerate the implementation of the Paris Climate Accord, which includes nearly 200 countries, but notably not the United States. Nevertheless, President Trump dropped by to listen to the morning session, as well as give some remarks of his own.
I'm a big believer in clean air and clean water, and all countries should get together and do that, and they should do it for themselves.
A strong statement from the president in support of people getting together and doing things on their own. The president attended the summit for just 14 minutes before leaving for a religious event. Elizabeth?
Thank you. President Folt led the climate strike here on Friday and inspired students to make USC a more sustainable campus. The event turnout was overwhelming, and Folt responded by saying, quote, "I never see crowds of people caring like this, caring about the planet that we all love and hold dear." Tonight, a student who attended the climate strike is here to talk about the experience. Sophomore Claire Mouse is the Assistant Director of the Environmental Student Assembly. Thank you for being here. My first question is, what do you think should be the priority for students on furthering sustainability on campus?
So we had a meeting with Carol Folt recently, and her biggest priority is that students show that they do care about this issue. She wants sustainability to come from the students.
Absolutely. There are existing sustainability programs on campus like the LED lighting retrofits and optimization in the classroom. What do you think is lacking in the programs?
For those programs in particular, I just think that there's not enough focus placed on like efficiency. So obviously these programs are trying to fix efficiency, but we have things like the building lights are on literally all day and all night.
Yeah.
So removing things like that, obviously that's a security issue, but there's definitely ways that we could optimize energy efficiency on this campus.
How do you think the school could better support these programs and improve student engagement on campus?
It has to come from administrative places. I do think that with Carol Folt there is hope now, but they're going to have to support it with their dollars really, so start investing in green energy technologies and retrofitting the buildings.
So you were at the climate strike. It's so exciting. So I know President Folt talked a lot about her goals for like a sustainability plan, talking about, you know, making our carbon footprints smaller. Could you talk a little bit about that? How do you think we'll achieve those goals?
Right, so I think there's a variety of different ways that we can achieve those goals. A lot of it is going to come from sustainable procurement, so sustainable purchases within USC, making sure that where we get our items and products sourced from are coming from sustainable places is going to be the most important thing, as well as working with the city to make sure that the city is green, running on green energy, green water.
Absolutely. Well, that's actually all the time we have. Thank you so much, Claire. Really appreciate it. Back to you at the desk, Caleb.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Some Iranian students' visas have been blocked. We have new information about how USC is affected. Local fire chiefs are showcasing new technology that will help firefighting as we enter fire season. Plus, Metro riders are upset over the recent decision to run fewer Expo Line trains during busy hours, where riders are saying overcrowding can lead to unsafe situations. Next.
Encuentra el bosque más cercano en descubreelbosque.org. El bosque, más cerca de lo que crees.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
LA Metro riders are complaining today about the lack of Expo Line trains running during rush hour. Brogan Craner spoke with some Metro users who say overcrowding has become a serious issue.
Chase Beach is a USC grad student who often takes the Expo Line to campus. She is adamant about not contributing to LA traffic.
It feels like one thing that I can do that is not adding another car to the road.
But now LA Metro is running fewer trains on the Expo Lines during rush hour, leading to overcrowding. Now I'm on one of the Expo Line trains right now, not during one of the peak hours of overcrowding, but still, it's standing room only. An LA Metro manager told Annenberg Media that the main reason for decreasing the Expo Line trains is to avoid congestion at certain cross-line stations. Riders say overcrowding is not only uncomfortable, but unsafe.
I just feel claustrophobic. I feel like everybody's crunched in like we're in a sardine can. When it's packed in there and people start kind of like want to take it one step further as far as more than arguing, then that's when I feel like, is my life in danger?
Chase recently experienced that anger firsthand when a fight broke out on a train, leading one man to spray mace.
The train had to stop, everybody had to get off, people had tears streaming down their face. I had burning, under my nose. It was like an incredibly unpleasant experience.
Despite the negative encounter, Chase decided taking the Metro was the lesser of two evils.
Every little bit helps in terms of the environment. We just had the climate strikes happening all over the world. Everybody is, demanding change and action.
Chase says that dealing with overcrowding and longer wait times is worth it to keep one less car off the road. For Annenberg Media, I'm Brogan Craner.
Thank you, Brogan. Packed and set to study in the United States. About a dozen Iranian students had their visas yanked at the last minute. Annenberg Media has learned from the Office of International Services that none of the students were headed to USC. It's not clear what U.S. government agency made the decision or why. We talked to an expert on immigration about this situation.
So there's not much that can be done if an Iranian student is denied a visa. Unfortunately, it's a reflection of the political climate that we're in. The president has a broad range of power to deny entry to foreign nationals into the U.S.
Most of those students plan to study engineering and computer science and were headed to UC schools. The 2020 census is only months away, and the city of Los Angeles wants all residents to know they count. Annenberg Media's Miriam Fuentes spoke with residents and local officials about the importance of participating.
Rosie de los Santos has been living in Los Angeles for over 20 years. An immigrant from Mexico, she is determined to have her voice heard in this upcoming census.
I want others to feel the way I do, that we need to help, to support, because we're living here.
Veronica Gomez took part in the last census, but doesn't think it makes a difference. She says her neighborhood needs a lot of work.
My streets need more cleaning, lights, a lot is missing.
Leaders across Los Angeles want every single person to be counted in the 2020 census.
And experts say factors like education, race, and income make a difference in who will participate.
Historically, the census has excluded certain communities at disproportionately high rates, including people of color, immigrants, urban and rural communities, and young children.
Activists for the Latino community say there's a new challenge for this next census.
So you kind of have a duality of all these things going on, and now specifically for 2020, what you have is a lot of fear for the administration, everything that's been going on with ICE raids, etc.
But Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti says participating is as safe as it is important.
We don't participate, it's not something that hurts Washington, it hurts us. It hurts our programs here, the dollars we get to fix our streets. So everybody has a stake, and people need to know that their information is secure.
And in order to increase participation, people can do so in person, online, and over the phone. For Annenberg Media, I'm Miriam Fuentes.
Well, Caleb, you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's weather time. Nicola?
Thank you, Elizabeth and Caleb. Well, I hope you enjoyed your last summer weekend because today it is the first day of fall. The current temperature is 79 degrees, but don't let that fool you because tomorrow's temperatures are going to be extremely hot. Some areas in the triple digits. Let's look over at San Bernardino, 98 degrees, down at Riverside, 98 degrees as well. And over Big Bear, even Big Bear is warm with 70 degrees. If you're an avid surfer, tomorrow's conditions in Malibu are going to be perfect for that. It's going to be hot at 80 degrees, and over through the canyon, Thousand Oaks, 94 degrees, and over at Northridge, 100 degrees. Let's bring it back to home base here at USC. 86 degrees over at LAX. 79 degrees, down at Long Beach 87 degrees, and over at Pomona 96 degrees. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Temperatures this week are actually going to drop, so it will feel like fall. Tomorrow 85 degrees, Wednesday 84 degrees, dropping it down into the 70s on Thursday at 79 degrees, Friday 76 degrees, and Saturday 73 degrees. Now, in California, the start of fall usually means the fire season, and more than 180 fires have already spread throughout the state. Meteorologists are keeping an eye out on Northern California, where red flag warnings are currently in effect. As a result, PG&E is shutting off all power in 3 counties to help reduce the possibility of a fire outbreak. The public safety power shutoff is scheduled through Wednesday evening. Now, if you take a look at this map right here, it shows the exact location at where PG&E is cutting the power. This includes the counties of Butte, Nevada, and Yuba. More than 21,000 customers are expected to have no electricity during this 3-day period. And for those affected, the company suggests to save emergency phone numbers and consider staying with a friend or relative during the outbreak. This is, of course, a developing story, so as meteorologists continue to monitor the weather, PG&E may decide at any time to stop further power shutoffs. I really hope that this fire is not going to spread just because it's already caused so much damage. 180 fires have already been here, 3 months left until the end of the year. I really hope this is not.
Just need them to stop.
Yeah, definitely hope it's towards the end. Thank you, Nicola.
Thank you. Fire chiefs from across Southern California are hoping a new high-tech firefighting system will help them put out the flames sooner. It's a program costing $4.5 million and is called the Fire Integrated Real-Time Intelligence System. Basically, it's an airplane using infrared and radar sensors, which allows firefighters to see throughout the smoke. The plane will also have real-time fire mapping to help first responders.
The Fires Pilot Program allows firefighters from Southern California to give input to the technology community so that they can build this technology to meet the end user's needs. And that end user is the fire community and the decision makers that are involved in these efforts.
This is not new technology, but putting them together on a plane for firefighting is, and will help firefighters attack a blaze at first report of a fire. California's Department of Forestry says they have already been 4,000 fires this year, and we are just at the beginning of fire season. Oh, my goodness. All right, Lauren, let's hear a little bit about sports.
Up next, USC Football comes away with a win over Utah, and head coach Clay Helton buys himself more time. Men's water polo head coach Margot Penerick had his first game and locked in the win. Plus, both women's volleyball and soccer head into Pac-12 play this week. We discuss how they look heading into conference.
Hi, I'm Smokey Cole Bear, filling in because for 75 years, Smokey only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
Meanwhile, the song was wrong. We did start the fire. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you.
your favorite brother, your other brother. Yes. You, your football buddy, your football buddy. You, your plumber.
Breathe right into your foot.
Your plumber's masseuse.
Yes.
You, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
USC head coach Clay Helton won the Dodd Trophy Award for Coach of the Week today. This comes after the Trojans' victory against the number 10 team. This video from USC's football recruiting Instagram shows a post-game dance celebration with Helton and his players. It's clear to see that Helton's players are behind him after a win like that. Talking about the game, it is still unclear who will be the starting quarterback after Keaton Slovis went down during the second play of the Utah game. Helton says his status will be updated later this week. Third-string Matt Fink stepped in to take his place and showed that he could lead the offense in the absence of Slovis. The air raid offense was in full effect this game, Fink throwing for 351 yards and 3 touchdowns. Michael Pittman Jr. had a record-setting night with 232 receiving yards, a 77-yard touchdown, and 10 receptions. While the Trojans' offense brought their A-game against the Utes, the defense held their own, only allowing the Utes to score 2 touchdowns while in the red zone. After the game, this is what Matt Fink had to say.
Just do my job. I mean, it's simple as that. I don't think that this moment was too big for me, but I think getting in today and showing what I could do was what I really wanted to do by staying here.
Looking forward, USC faces number 17 Washington in Seattle this Saturday. Stay tuned with Annenberg Media for updates on Slovis's injury. This was the first regular season game for the newly appointed men's water polo head coach Marko Penerick since Jovan Vavic was arrested after the college admissions scandal. The number 5 USC men's water polo faced Long Beach State at their home opener on Thursday, defeating the 49ers 13-6. It was a tight game, but veteran player Jacob Mersep boosted the gap between the two, scoring 5 goals for the Trojans. USC has dominated Long Beach for some time now, defeating them in the past 32 matchups. The Trojans have held a 71-15 record against Beach since 1979. Next up, USC will compete in the Mountain Pacific Invitational, hosted by UCLA this coming weekend. Now over to Tyler for some updates on the Women of Troy.
Thank you, Lauren. Over the weekend, number 20 USC Women's Volleyball bounced back from a loss with a sweep of Long Beach State. That sweep wraps up non-conference play for the Trojans. The Women of Troy start Pac-12 play this week when they head to Westwood to take on the Bruins. Let's hear from head coach Brent Crouch ahead of Wednesday's matchup.
They're particularly challenging with the way they move the ball around on offense. They do a nice job of mixing in tips and roll shots in addition to hard swings, and that's proven difficult for us in some of the matches that we've played. Yale was a team that did that a lot, and we're preparing for that in practice the next couple days.
After a third sweep this season, the Trojans will have some momentum rolling into Wednesday evening. Now, on to the other Women of Troy. The number 2 USC Women's Soccer team suffered its first draw Friday evening in Waco, Texas, with a final score of 2-2. The draw breaks a 7-game winning streak. The game leader for the Trojans was Penelope Hawking with the second Trojan goal. The Women of Troy unable to score any more in the second half of play. Women's soccer also opens Pac-12 play this week when they host number 3 Stanford on Saturday. USC hasn't beat Stanford since 2016. They lost last season 0-1. The women of Troy will look to bounce back this week in preparation for the start of Pac-12 play. Despite not getting the win at Baylor, the 7-0-1 record is the best record through 8 games for a Trojan squad. Lauren, let's head back to you at the desk.
Thanks so much, Tyler. That about wraps it up for sports this weekend.
Billy Porter made Emmy history last night. He is the first openly gay black man to win Best Actor in a Drama.
Billy Porter made history at the 71st Emmy Awards. He became the first openly gay black man to win Best Actor in a Drama for his role in the TV show Pose.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
So it should. Billy Porter made history at the 71st Emmy Awards. He became the first openly gay black man to win Best Actor in a Drama for his role in the TV show Pose.
So I'm going to just say thank you. Thank you, first of all, to the other exquisitely talented men in my category. I love you all so much. It is such an honor to be up here breathing the same air that y'all breathe. Thank you, thank you.
Pose depicts New York's underground ball culture in the 80s. Porter plays a man living with HIV who acts as a grandfather to the drag community. We talked to SCA students to get their reaction on his big win.
Having a gay black man win an award like that and to get that kind of high esteem is huge in terms of just like signaling to maybe other people who are a little bit less willing that now is the time to start like changing.
It like normalizes this type of winner in the Emmys and at least this type of nominee.
Porter has won an Emmy, Grammy, and a Tony, which means he is only an Oscar away from having an EGOT. Have you all seen the show Pose?
I have not.
One of my cousins showed it to me. It's an awesome show. He does a great job. Yeah, it's really cool just to see kind of the dynamics. You learn the history of it in the area. I definitely think it's something you guys should check out.
Well, I am so happy for him. I mean, his reaction was so genuine on stage. So.
And hat. Can we talk about
I know the outfit.
Fabulous looks.
Yeah, definitely something that I think we can get behind the hat. And then the EGOT, that's something that, I mean, I don't think we talk about enough. So an EGOT, everybody knows there's an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Oh, yeah. That's incredible.
So I want to say maybe Beyonce. No, I don't think Beyonce has one.
I don't think she does.
Has the EGOT. But it's definitely something that
that's an award in itself.
Uncharted territory. Oh, yeah. Already having one. I mean, he's one away. So hop in a movie and he's going to be good to go.
Wow.
Definitely something to be looked at.
I mean, the Emmys were definitely a really interesting show this year just because.
Well, that's what we have. So thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Elizabeth Farino.
And I'm Caleb Michael. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.